What is fast fashion? It is described as low-cost clothing collections that mimic current fashion trends. It all started in the 1990s as there was a massive pressure on retail stores to increase their profits due to massive competition from department stores. Fast fashion retailers include global retailers such as H&M, Zara, Topshop, The Gap, and Forever 21. The characteristics of these retailers are they are centralized specialty stores that outsource most of their supply chain. The retail strategy for these retail chains is to get the consumers to buy as many garments as possible in a short amount of time. This activates their habitual decision making, which leads to a shorter time in the buying process. Fast fashion retailers have complete control of their business. They have a tight distribution channel which allows them to respond quickly to runway looks, control their breadth and depth in their merchandise that is able to give a wide variety of merchandise to its customers. They can control costs such as operating costs and the cost of their merchandise. They do this by segmenting their supply chain by using the ABC analysis. The basic items are made in the East, while the fashion items are made in Europe and South America. This complete control of their business allows them to use leader pricing by pricing their merchandise so low. Fast fashion is causing major problems in the retail industry as it's shown not to be ethically or socially responsible for its actions. They violate fair trade as workers work long hours, are paid cheap wages, and are forced to work in horrible working conditions. To make the clothing so cheap, they use cheap materials and dyes to produce the garments. Petrochemical-based materials such as acrylic and polyester is commonly used. Cotton is also commonly used, which is a water-thirsty plant that needs to be treated constantly because of pesticides. The continuous transportation of the merchandise contributes to global warming, due to having to transport large amounts of merchandise multiple times a year, creating more carbon dioxide in the air. The impacts after purchasing also affects the environment. The washing of the items because of the dyes goes into the water stream. Also, the merchandise isn't durable. The clothing breaks easily, goes out of trend, or the consumer changes their mind. Because of this, 11 million tons of clothing goes into landfills every year. This also contributes to global warming because of the petrochemical-based materials as they leak gas into the air. Lastly, local retailers have limited power over these global retailers. Because of intra-tribe competition, consumers with no knowledge about the impacts of fast fashion shop for the cheapest clothing. What can fast fashion do to turn around and improve the impacts they have already made? They can introduce environmentally friendly materials, they can introduce recyclable clothing bins where consumers can dispose of their clothing, and with this they can recycle the clothing and make new clothing out of the old, gaining sustainability advantage. They can monitor the factories they use, ensuring that the workers are working in a safe environment and getting paid properly. Lastly, they can introduce less fashion lines to limit transportation. Some examples of sustainable retail stores in Toronto are the Kind Exchange, the Salvation Army Thrift Store, Double Take Yonge Street Mission, the Black Market, and Patagonia.